near their homes if it's safe to do so. We have over 1,000 inlets across the city, and so it's important that you help us and be a partner in addressing those issues. Know that your city and county officials, we are prepared. We are monitoring conditions very closely, and safety is our first priority for our residents and for our city and county workers. And so at this time, we want to take a few moments to allow members of the team here, the response team, to share a little bit more about what we know. So first we'll hear from Cliff Weaver from Emergency Management, who will talk about the forecast, and then we'll hear from Commissioner Uppers, who will talk about the county response, and then hear from Beth Sweeney from American Red Cross, who will share how she and her team are assisting with warming centers and shelters across the city.
Thank you. Mayor did a good job covering a lot of points. We've been monitoring this system for about a week and a half to get ready for today. A lot of coordination, a lot of meetings, a lot of conference calls, and we've done the best we can, and we are still monitoring the forecast. There's still some changes. At this point, with the current forecast, we're expecting somewhere between 8 to 12 inches of rain, or 8 to 12 inches of snow. Like she said, the streets have been treated. They've done a great job getting ready. All the trucks and crews are standing by. What we are asking you to do, if at all possible, is to stay off the streets for the next day or two and let the crews do their jobs, get the streets back in safe condition. And if you have to travel, make sure you take extra clothes, extra layers, hats, gloves, things that will keep you warm in case you have trouble. The first responders are going to be having some very difficult conditions if they have to get out. If you have car trouble or an emergency, they will have to come get you. So we don't necessarily want them out unless at all possible. We are expecting some more updates from the Weather Service even tonight. Tomorrow we have conference calls with the state. The governor has already put the National Guard on standby with the highway assistance teams. So they'll have some all-terrain vehicles to cover the interstates. We will be monitoring the situation the best we can. This will probably be the highest snowfall we've had in probably 20 years if the forecast is accurate. So I think we're, under the circumstances, ready for snow, and fortunately it's not going to be like what we had last year. So at this time I'm going to hand it off to Commissioner Elpers.
Thank you, Cliff. Vanderbilt County Commissioner Justin Elpers. I don't know why I didn't schedule my beach vacation this weekend. You know, I missed it there. But no, all kidding aside, like Mayor Terry said, safety first. Just got off the phone with the county garage superintendent. All the trucks are ready to roll, fueled, ready to rock and roll for whatever is thrown at us. And then our office sent out an invitation to Mayor Terry's office, the sheriff, Cliff, and other county elected officials, and then we'll be making a conference call on Sunday to make a decision on what we want to do about the courts and the Civic Center being open or closed. So that's all I got, and I'll turn it over to Beth.
Thanks so much, Justin. The American Red Cross Southwest chapter is working closely with Cliff and his team, emergency management officials, and Mayor Terry, and community partners to provide support as needed. We have pre-positioned resources in preparation to have shelters and shelter volunteers on standby, ready to support for community members should those overnight disaster shelters be needed. So a lot of that looks like snacks, meals, emotional support, and disaster health resources. We are very thankful for our partnership with Feed Evansville, who is on standby to provide meals at shelters should that need arise, as well as the Vanderbilt Humane Society, who has offered support for pets at our shelters. We do want to encourage you to be prepared should you need to go to a shelter if one is open. Make sure that you have your medication, your medical equipment, phone chargers, a pillow, your child's favorite stuffed animal, things that would make you feel comfortable in a shelter, ready to go should that need come up. We also encourage you, stay home if at all possible. Be sure that you're checking on your relatives and your neighbors, making sure that everybody has safe heat sources so that they're prepared for this storm. So we will continue to monitor the situation, and in coordination with emergency management officials, we will open a shelter if it is needed. So we are standing by and prepared should that be needed.
Thank you, Beth. And again, I just want to reiterate in advance, we have a tremendous response team here in Evansville, Vanderburgh County. As you can see, many of the leaders are behind me, and we stand ready to respond so that this community remains safe as we get through this winter storm. So at this time, we'll open it up for questions, and also there will be time after that for individual one-on-one interviews as well.
Good afternoon. I'm 14 First Alert Meteorologist Arden Gregory.
And I'm 14 First Alert Meteorologist Michael Fecka, and we're here again to do another conjoined afternoon streaming show for you here. We just got done streaming that press conference with Vanderburgh County officials talking about, preparations and what they can expect and what you can expect as we head into this weekend. So now we're going to go ahead and kind of broadcast those forecast details for you now.
Yeah, that's right. So they talked about preparedness. The officials are getting prepared. Hopefully you've been getting prepared at home. We do have a major winter storm on the way. We've been talking about this since Monday. We first put this First Alert Weather Day in on Monday, giving you as much heads up as we could that this weekend was going to be impactful. And all that's happened in the course of that week is confidence has increased, numbers have gone up. This is going to be a big one. So we're still on alert this weekend and even into Monday, but it's for slightly two different reasons. The cold is for all 3 days, but the snow is not, right?
Yeah, snow, we're primarily looking at that impacting us Saturday and Sunday. So we're going to start to see some of those snow showers push in through Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon, and then maybe even a little bit of a lull there late in the afternoon, early in the evening, and then it really ramps up here overnight Saturday into Sunday morning. I think that is going to be the most intense part of the storm, and that's when I think we'll pick up most of our accumulations.
Right, so the snow is going to be over the course of the weekend. So Saturday into Sunday, that's when we're talking about heavy, widespread, impactful snow accumulation. Then as we get into Monday, that's when we really see this change over to dangerously cold temperatures. Now, the dangerous cold will already be in place. In fact, that starts as early as tonight, but we continue the alert day into Monday, not for any additional snow, but because the travel impacts will continue.
Right.
None of that snow is going to melt. It's going to be dangerously cold. So Monday will still be a very impactful day for the tri-state. We're not the only ones dealing with this.
Yeah.
This is a huge storm.
Yeah, this is a monster of a winter storm here. You can see it looks like almost half the country covered in some sort of winter weather alert, from the Mexico border all the way up into the coast of New England. We have winter storm warnings, and we're caught in the crosshairs here in the Evansville area, mostly for snow. But then if you look to the south there, you see those purple colors. That is an ice storm warning where they're picking up maybe over an inch of ice in some locations.
So major concerns from Texas through Louisiana, Mississippi, into Tennessee and the Carolinas there, where they're getting a major ice storm. Thankfully, it looks like we're going to dodge most of that. But like Michael said, we are under a winter storm warning, primarily for heavy, impactful snow across the tri-state. So let's talk a little bit more about the timing, because you do still have some time to prepare for this, right? The snow is not starting right now. You've got the rest of today and even tonight to get ready for this. It's mostly cloudy but dry across the tri-state right now, and it's going to stay that way through the rest of today and tonight as well. Really, the action starts to pick up tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so you've got plenty more time here. If you're watching us, you're getting done work or school, you haven't taken the time to go to the grocery store, you haven't, put some gas in your car, you haven't picked up an extra gas for your generators or snow blowers or whatever have you. Do that today. That is going to be the best thing you can do to prepare yourself for what's coming in tomorrow. Right. And then we'll start to see that snow actually begin to work in by mid to late morning on Saturday.
Yeah, and so like I said, we've been talking about this all week, so hopefully you've already done most of your preparation. But for those of you who've been putting it off to the last minute, you've got the rest of today and tonight to get ready. Those snow showers start to move in tomorrow morning, and then we're talking about scattered snow from about midday tomorrow into the afternoon. I do think this will probably start out as more of a powdery snow first thing on Saturday. We do have some very dry air in place, so we have to kind of overcome that. It may be a slow start. This isn't going to all of a sudden be a blizzard where there's inches of snow falling an hour. We're gonna ease into this.
Yeah.
So this will start with the kind of snow that we're kind of used to around here.
Showery, not necessarily
on and off throughout Saturday. Like Michael said, we may even get some lulls where you get a break in the snow Saturday evening, but then we get closer to the center of the storm. So then Saturday night into early Sunday morning. So this would be in the overnight hours. Look at how dark that blue is there.
Yes.
That's heavy snow. And it's also possible we'll be right at the dividing line where some people, mainly in western Kentucky, could maybe see a little bit of wintry mix, maybe some sleet mixing in with that snow.
Yeah, and this is something that's kind of trended a little bit more north since yesterday. A lot of the models kept that mixing line mainly to Hopkins, Muhlenberg, and Ohio County. Now it's kind of pushing it up into areas like Webster, McLean, and even into portions of Davis County as well. So that's something you want to note. But it does still look like, at least for most of us, we're expecting mainly snow. But as this storm intensifies overnight, that's when we'll see the best chance at that sleet mixing in with even a little bit of freezing rain.
Right, so through the middle of the night, Saturday night into early Sunday morning, some folks may be getting sleet, but the main impact, most of the tri-state at that point would be getting heavy snow. And it's possible that this will be, those big, fat, wet snowflakes falling across the tri-state through those overnight hours. So that's where we pick up a lot of our accumulation. It may not look that impressive on Saturday. I know we're on alert Saturday, but that's the day it starts.
Right.
Really, by the time you wake up Sunday morning,
this is
that's
when it looks like a
things
storm.
are really going to intensify. We've still got heavy snow and maybe even some sleet falling into Sunday morning. Then as we go through the day on Sunday, everything starts to kind of taper back off. We reverse back through kind of what we went through on Saturday.
Right.
The snow starts to become lighter, drier, and gradually start to taper off then as we go through the day. Now we are still expecting snow showers through the whole first half of the day Sunday. So all the way up through lunchtime on Sunday, expect snow to be falling. Then it'll push off to the east as we go through Sunday afternoon. And by Sunday night, the snow will be done falling, but I think it may not be right to say it's over.
Yeah.
Because the impacts, those are going to be with us for a while.
Yeah, especially with those, frigid temperatures. We reiterate this, the snow's not going anywhere. It's not going to melt for a long time.
We will probably have snow on the ground all of next week.
Yeah, so anticipate that continuing to impact you. Sidewalks still going to be pretty icy even the days following this system. Roads probably still not going to be in the best shape. Maybe the main roads would be the highways, but a lot of those side streets stay icy for quite some time. So still going to be reeling with the impacts of the system even after it clears out of here.
Yeah. So let's talk totals a little bit because this is something everybody wants to know. Just how much snow could we get from this? There is still quite a range. Like I said, on Saturday, we're going to have to overcome some dry air, so it may be kind of a slow start on Saturday. If Saturday night into Sunday morning, we do end up with a heavier, wetter snow, that tends to compact more, and so it wouldn't measure as high, even though it would still be a lot of snow and heavy snow, which is harder to move. If we get more of that fluffy, powdery snow, that tends to stack up higher and is easier to brush away. You can just, hit that with a broom, a big broom, but a broom, whereas when you get that heavier, wetter snow, that's where you really have to start putting some effort into shoveling. So there's still some uncertainty. We're definitely getting snow.
Yeah, no question.
How much of each kind of snow, how that changes through the duration of the weekend, that's where we get this uncertainty. But the message we really want to drive home here is no matter where you're at on this map, everyone's getting a lot of snow this weekend.
Yeah.
Heavy, impactful snow. We're talking about widespread travel issues, widespread closures. It does seem like the heaviest snow would probably be right through the middle of the tri-state.
Yeah, kind of right through the most populated areas. It looks like the models continue to kind of line up that kind of heavier band that we've been anticipating that could put us into some of those higher totals. That purple fuchsia color indicates 9 to 16, and we've got, pretty much everyone along the Ohio River high highlighted in that. Not saying everybody in here is going to get 16 inches. I know a lot of people see the big number and they take that for their forecast.
It could be 9.
It could be very well just be 9, which
But
is still a ton of
Just-
snow.
Yeah.
So
the fact that we're saying just 9
Yeah.
could indicate what kind of, storm we're talking about here. As you get farther south into western Kentucky, you do see those snow totals tapering off a little bit, but part of that is because there's that potential that some of your precipitation may come in the form of ice. Maybe freezing rain, but primarily sleet. So sleet is still, concerning, but it's not as problematic as freezing rain. Freezing
Yeah.
rain is where you get that coating on everything.
Right.
It weighs down the trees, weighs down the power lines. It is the most dangerous type of precipitation you can get. I'm not that concerned about freezing rain, but you may have sleet. So basically like little tiny ice pellets
Yeah.
instead of fluffy snow. It would still be very slick, not as slick as freezing rain, but slipperier than snow.
Right.
So it's possible you could have some sleet in the mix, especially as you get farther south into western Kentucky. So places like Hopkins, Muhlenberg, and Ohio counties, you folks may have a little bit less snow than the rest of us, but it's because you may have a little bit of sleet mixed in with your snow. So as a result, that also wouldn't
shrinks.
stack up as high.
Yeah.
It would be, almost like crushed ice sitting down there, and that would be a little bit heavier. All right, so again, we want to drive home the impacts.
Yes.
Because that matters even more than the numbers. Whether we get 6, 8, 10, or 12 inches of snow, really, at the end of the day, doesn't matter all that much because around here, 6 inches
Everything's
of snow
closed.
is enough to close everything
Yeah.
either way. Even if this underperforms and we all end up on the low end of the totals,
Yeah.
you're still talking about a half foot of snow. That is going to shut down the tri-state.
Yeah.
So across the board, everyone, no matter where you fall in the tri-state, the entire region, expecting moderate to major impacts from this. Again, this is going to be a major winter storm. Do not be on the roads if you don't have to be. This is going to be hazardous travel, widespread closures. This is going to shut the place down,
Yes.
which is why we keep talking about you need to be prepared to basically stay home all weekend
Yes.
and probably Monday and maybe even Tuesday of next week.
Yeah.
So again, reiterating, major impacts from this. And again, it's not just us. I had some folks reach out to me asking about traveling this weekend. No. You can't go just about anywhere in our region this weekend.
Yeah.
You can barely go anywhere in the country this weekend
Yeah,
without
it's-
running into winter weather. We showed you how wide stretching this storm is. We've got these major impacts stretching east to Louisville, through the tri-state, all across Missouri and Arkansas. And way down south, they've even got some extreme impacts because that's where you run into that ice storm where they're talking about serious ice, widespread power outages, and things of that nature. So thankfully, we're not going to get that. But we've mentioned this is going to kind of ramp up as we go through the course of the weekend. So let's talk about what this may actually look like as we go through the course of the weekend.
Yeah, so by the time we wake up tomorrow morning, we may see a couple of snow showers out there. Again, they're going to be more scattered in nature. It's not quite the full-on snowstorm throughout the day on Saturday yet. It's just getting started. We've got to combat that dry, cold air first, so our atmospheric column has to saturate before the snow can actually begin to accumulate. So we only may pick up a few inches, maybe 1, 2, 3 inches of snow across the tri-state through the day on Saturday. So Saturday itself, not the worst. It's when we get into the overnight hours into Sunday morning that you'll notice this storm system really begins to ramp up. We jump those totals a lot. We're now sitting at around 8 inches here by waking up Sunday morning, and then it continues to snow through at least the first half of the day on Sunday, and that just continues to add to those totals. So again, I think the most intense part of this system is going to be overnight Saturday into Sunday morning. Saturday, it's just getting started. We'll have some scattered snow showers, not too much in the way of accumulation until the nighttime.
Right. So if you're going to bed Saturday night and you look outside and there's only a couple inches of snow on the ground, don't think that this whole thing has busted. It's just getting started.
Yeah.
You're going to wake up to a lot more snow on the ground Sunday morning, and then it'll keep snowing through the first half of the day Sunday. So these totals we're mentioning, that's what you'll get by the time this is all over. It's
Right.
going to snow on and off all day Saturday, Saturday night, and into Sunday. Those are the totals you'll have at the very end of this Sunday afternoon. So again, It'll have kind of a slow start, but by the end, this is going to be a major impactful snowstorm. And while those snow showers are moving through, you may still run into issues with limited visibility and things like that. So
Right.
Saturday, even when there's not that much snow on the ground yet, travel may still be difficult.
Right.
Because also something to keep in mind, it's so miserably cold
Yes.
already,
Yeah.
and it's going to stay miserably cold. Every single flake that falls this weekend is going to stick.
Yeah, there's no
So
question.
as that snow falls, it's going to be sticking immediately. You may have limited visibility. So even if you're thinking, oh, well,
A
he'll-
few
yeah,
hours with
right,
the
I could
snow.
go out Saturday afternoon, be back before it gets bad Saturday night. It is still going to be actively snowing, and it is going to be sticking every flake that falls,
Yeah.
and it's going to be brutally cold. So I would really urge you, don't go out at all this weekend.
stay home.
Yeah, stay home Saturday, Sunday, Monday, maybe even Tuesday. And I mentioned Monday. Like we said, the snow will be over Sunday afternoon, but we're still on alert Monday for kind of part 2 of this alert, which is the temperatures.
Yeah, dangerously cold as this storm system departs. So, you clear out of the snow and you wake up Monday morning. It's sunny, but it feels just awful out there. And we'll get into what
Believe
those
it or
wind
not,
chill values are going to be.
Maybe even worse than how it feels out there right now. And
Yeah.
it is already miserably cold. I don't
Yeah.
know if you've been out this afternoon. Our temperatures have been gradually falling all day today, so we actually had our high for the day this morning, and that cold air is working its way into the tri-state now. We're, for the most part, sitting in the teens. We've still got a couple of lower 20s holding on in western Kentucky, but most of us are in the teens at this point, and those wind chills, single digits or
Yeah.
even below 0 in some spots, and this is not even the coldest it's going to get.
Yeah, it's once that wind picks up, especially
Mm-hmm.
with that low passing by, yeah, those wind chill values well below 0. We could be talking as much as 10 below 0 waking up Monday morning and then again on Tuesday morning as well.
Yeah, and like we said, that cold, it's starting now. So we've got that cold in place tonight. It's going to stay cold all weekend and then could be even colder as we get into the start of next week, especially if we do have, a foot of snow on the ground. That acts like a refrigerator.
Yes.
Snowpack makes it even colder. So those temperatures are going to be just brutal. Starting tonight. Tonight, our temperatures are going to dip into the single digits, but like Michael said, the wind is going to be picking up, so our wind chills may get as low as 5 to 10 degrees below 0 late tonight into early Saturday morning. So Saturday, we're already on alert first thing in the morning for the cold.
Yeah.
Then we've got the snow moving in as we go through the day. Even though we will warm up a bit once the sun rises, even Saturday afternoon, highs are only going to make it into the mid-teens. And again, those wind chill values will probably remain in the single digits. And then it just stays so unbelievably cold. For reference, this red line way up here, that's our normal high for this time of year. This is our normal low, and all of our temperatures are down here below that through the entire next 7 days.
Yeah, it is going to be frigid out there. So that's why we're telling you this snow is not going to go anywhere. Hopefully you picked up your bags of salt and your shovels, because if you're the kind of person that just lets it sit until it melts, it's not going to this time. So you've got to clean it up. You have to take care of it. Clean it off your cars. Do everything you need to do so that it's just out of your way, because it's not going anywhere. It's so cold, only topping out in the 20s by the middle and end of next week with those single-digit morning lows. Bitter. Definitely feeling like the middle of winter now after this storm system clears.
Yeah, let's take a look at the actual wind chills, because these are the temperatures, but it's going to feel colder than that for most of the time. So we mentioned those wind chills dipping down below 0 late tonight into early Saturday morning, and then they just don't change very much. Our wind chills will probably be in the single digits from Saturday all the way through Sunday. So Saturday night, Sunday night, wind chills in the single digits. Then as that snow moves out, like Michael said, it gets even colder.
Yeah.
And by Monday morning, those wind chills could dip back below 0.
Yeah, as much as, negative 10 degrees is what it could feel like waking up Monday morning with that wind then pouring in from the north, even colder to our west. So very, very, very cold start to the work week next week.
Even then Monday afternoon, only into the single digits at best. And then Tuesday morning, could actually end up being the coldest. I don't know if
Yeah.
I buy -18. That's
Yeah.
pretty extreme, but it will certainly feel below 0, and then we still may only get into the single digits, maybe low teens optimistically Tuesday afternoon, because we
Right.
do start to gradually warm back up. Oh, I forgot to move the alert days.
Oh, that's all right.
So pretend that these are all shifted over a day.
Yes.
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday are the first alert weather days for that cold. And I mentioned it will definitely feel like it's below 0 on Tuesday morning. And the reason I can tell you that, I know that for sure, is the actual temperature will be at 0.
Right.
So even the slightest breeze will make it feel like it is below 0
Zero, so-
Tuesday morning.
Yeah, so extremely cold here. We've got a lot of snow on the way this weekend, followed up by that dry, cold air moving in for the beginning of the work week. We're on alert specifically for Saturday and Sunday for that accumulating snowfall, and then alert on Monday for that extremely cold air. And depending on if the models continue to trend Tuesday morning on the colder side, we may even have to extend that alert into Tuesday morning to cover those wind chill values as well. So it's just an ever-evolving situation here, but we're locked in here on this winter storm. There's no question about it. We're going to get snow here in the tri-state. Even if we end up on the lower end of things, it's still at least a half
lot
foot
of
of snow
snow.
in some of these very populated areas. So that is going to shut things down, make travel very, very difficult. Road crews are going to have a hard time cleaning up and keeping up with it, especially if those snowfall rates are as high as we're thinking they might be. So best thing you can do, just hunker down, hang out inside, bundle up with your loved ones, make sure you're with someone you like, because you're probably going to be stuck with them for the entirety of
4
the
days.
weekend. So
Yeah.
make sure you really like that person you're with, and just
Yes,
enjoy it, and ride it out.
Since we aren't going to get any additional snow, even though it's going to be miserably cold next week, we don't have any additional snow in the forecast. So
Yes.
hopefully the road crews by Sunday night, Monday night, will be getting all of the snow that fell over the weekend cleared away. But we do have some people asking about, some of the neighborhood streets and things like that. I obviously can't speak to your individual
Right.
street. I don't know what the protocol is there, and it changes from county to county and state to state how the road crews handle it. Obviously, the main roads will be priority. First thing they're going to do is make sure they've got the interstates and the state highways cleared away, roads that go to, hospitals and past police stations and things
Right.
like that. Those are all going to be priority. When you get back into some of those little neighborhoods, dead-end streets and things like that,
Yeah.
you may just have to hope that somebody is
Somebody-
feeling generous and comes through and plows that for you, because
Yeah.
you'll have to talk to your county or city representatives about that. I just don't know. Sometimes I know that my parents live on a small dead-end street way out in the county. I've never seen a snowplow come down that road. I just
Yeah.
don't think they don't treat that road. They don't come down that road. A neighbor has a tractor, they come out and they plow it for
Right.
them. But if that's not your situation, I don't know what you're going to do. Everybody shovel the street in front of your house and maybe we can all get the whole street done. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do, but it's certainly not going to melt, I'll tell you that much. Someone is asking, are we going to get ice in Evansville?
It doesn't.
I'd say probably not.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to be dealing with much of an icing issue. Again, a little bit of sleet moving up and mixing across portions of western Kentucky. I think the best chance of seeing that is going to be across Hopkins, Muhlenberg, and Ohio County, even into McLean and Webster a little bit. That's where we'll see some of that sleet mixing in. I think freezing rain still mostly stays to our south, but again, some of that may be in there as well. But with that sleet and freezing rain mixed in, that takes down your totals a little bit across western Kentucky, which is why you're in that 5 to 10 range.
Right.
But it's still a ton of stuff, a ton of snow. Here in the Evansville area, it doesn't look likely that we'll see that mixing. Not saying it's going to be impossible, because
And
the storm
again,
still
even if
changes.
we did, it would be mainly sleet, not freezing rain, which is
Yes.
where you really get into the problems. And we do have some people asking about the odds of having power outages. I would say I'm not super concerned about power outages. With this kind of cold, I would absolutely make sure that you are prepared, because even if you lose power for a short period of time, it's going to get cold in your home very quickly.
Right.
But typically where you run into power outage issues like we did last year is when you have a lot of ice and then a lot of wind. And that's where you have trees coming down, power lines coming down, things like that. We're not expecting what happened last January. We're not expecting freezing rain, so we're not going to have that thick coating of ice that weighs everything down. And while it will be breezy, I don't think it will be windy enough to cause power outages.
Yeah.
The biggest impact from any kind of wind may be if it ends up being a fluffy, powdery snow, it may blow very easily. So we may end up where, they come and plow your road and then a gust of wind comes through and your road's
blows it right
covered
back
again. So that's something to monitor there. We do have some people asking about drifting and if the cold would affect their ability to treat the roads. Things like salt really don't work very well when it gets this cold. So that is something to consider.
Yeah, so that's why, the road crews recommend you guys stay off the road so that they can have full advantage and take advantage of all the space and clear up all the roads without having to worry about any other drivers because, that snow melt, it does become a lot less efficient when temperatures are this cold.
Right.
So it becomes more necessary for them to actually get rid of that snow as opposed to letting it melt. So
yeah, that ice melt, snow melt stuff really works great when your temperatures are right on the verge, when it's just cold enough that it's ice, that salt can turn it back into water. When you're talking about temperatures in the single digits, there's not enough salt in the world to turn that into water. It's not going to happen. So those things do become less effective at that point. But like we said, hopefully we're not going to have a lot of ice.
Right.
So this should be snow that you can just kind of push away, brush away, shovel away for the most part. We do have some people talking about animals, and that's a really good point, especially with these low temperatures. Remember the 3 Ps, okay? Check on your people, check on your pipes, check on your pets, right? So if you have elderly, especially somebody who lives alone, family, friends, neighbors, check on them through this. Make sure they have the supplies that they need.
Right.
Make sure their heat is working correctly. Make sure that they're doing okay, not just this weekend, but even into next week when we've got these brutally cold temperatures. Keep in mind, pipes may freeze in this kind of extreme cold, so you want to take precautions about that. Maybe leave your faucet on a drip, open your cabinet so that the pipes that run from your sink and whatnot have some of the heat, some of the air that's going through your house. And then pets. Please bring your pets inside if at all possible, even if you just put them in a garage or something like that, just something to get them in out of the elements. And if you have animals that stay outdoors, livestock and things like that, at the very least, please make sure that you are changing their water very, very frequently. It is going to freeze almost immediately. It's going to be very hard for them to get fresh water. So you need to be constantly checking on them and changing out their water. But if at all possible, please bring all animals inside because there's going to be a lot of snow. They are going to just be buried in it. They're going to have trouble finding a safe, sheltered place to rest. And it is going to be dangerously cold. So yes, check on your people, protect your pipes, check on your pets. Remember the 3 Ps in this cold weather season. All right. Let's see. People are asking about school closures. It is likely that we will have school closures. We're not going to get this kind of snow and then have temperatures in the single digits and still go to school on Monday. That's just not going to happen. It's not our call, but I feel confident in telling you it's just not going to happen. Depending on how quickly and completely they clear the snow from the roads, we may go sometime later in the week. But at the very least, I would say on Monday, after we just got all this snow and we're talking about wind chills, 10 degrees below zero. They don't want kids standing out in the snow, in the wind, in the cold, waiting for the bus and things like that. So I would say no snow or no school Monday. I would question the rest of the week. But certainly Monday, I would say we will have closures. As far as when it will get back above freezing, I don't know. It's not in the forecast.
Our forecast doesn't go out that far, unfortunately.
And if you look at the extended outlook, I had that pulled up earlier today. Let me see if I can.
It had a big blue splotch across the.
Let me see if this will come up for us real quick. So if you look at the extended outlook then from like this weekend into the start of February, we are outlooked for much below normal temperatures from Friday, January 30th through Monday, February 2nd. So we are not expecting to get above freezing this whole week, and it looks like we will probably stay below freezing through the weekend and into the start of the next week. So we're talking about a week, week and a half possibly, where we would stay below freezing. So that is certainly something to consider when we have this much snow in the forecast. Really, you do need to be thinking about how you're going to clear your way out of your house. Because it's not just going to clear on its own.
It's not.
We have a bad habit around here of just kind of waiting it out. It'll melt eventually.
You can't rely on that.
But maybe not this week. So you're going to have to do something about it. Some people asking about specific locations. We had that map up, so hopefully you were able to figure that out. All right, more people talking about protect your pets, bring them inside. Yes, yes, yes. It's going to be so cold. And people just arguing about whether or not they want the snow. Some people are like,
Personally.
yes, bring it on, love it,
I have
and
a
other
fun-
people hate it.
I have a fun
So-
question. Is there any weird like snow day traditions that you guys do where it's like you want it to snow? Do you like put a spoon under your pillow? Do you flush an ice cube down the toilet?
I have never even heard of these.
Really? Oh no, when I was a kid, if you wanted it to snow, you had to put a spoon under your pillow, you had to flush an ice cube down the toilet, and you had to throw ice cubes outside your window.
I have never heard of
And then
such
it
a thing.
never ended up snowing.
I have
anyway, so
never heard of such a thing. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's a northerner
yeah, maybe
thing.
that's
I don't know.
a northern East Coast thing.
You're
if
in the
anyone-
Bible Belt now. We don't practice witchcraft.
You're right.
I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. All right. Some people are asking about travel within the tri-state, like going from Owensboro to Evansville or Evansville to Owensboro.
Not-
Don't go anywhere.
Don't do it. Yeah, just stay home.
This whole weekend.
You
don't
don't-
go anywhere this
Yeah.
weekend, okay? Don't even, don't even go across town this weekend. Certainly don't leave town. It is just a bad idea. It's going to start snowing on Saturday, and it's going to snow all the way until Sunday afternoon. And then there's going to be a ton of snow on the ground
for the foreseeable.
for the foreseeable future, because then it's going to be brutally cold. So the short answer to any questions about travel is no.
Don't do it.
Don't.
We recommend that you don't.
Don't. All right. Some people are asking if we'll get some sunshine next week. Yes, but I don't think it'll warm us up much.
Yeah, it'll look probably really nice to go
Yeah.
outside, but it will not feel as such.
At least we'll maybe get to play in the snow
Yeah.
by like Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Because that's one of my concerns is we're going to get all this snow, and I've got young kids. It is just going to be too cold
It's
for
going to
them
be
to
way
be out
too
in
cold.
it.
Yeah.
It's too cold to even enjoy the snow. Some of you may be braver than I am, but I'm not going sledding when it's wind chill in single digits. That
Yeah.
just sounds miserable. So maybe by Tuesday it'll warm up enough that we can at least enjoy the snow,
Right.
but I still don't think it's going to warm up enough to melt it. All right. Looks like we've answered everybody's questions. So I think we're ready to go ahead and wrap this up. We are going to have a lot of just continuous coverage
Yes.
all weekend long.
Yeah, so starting this weekend, we'll be doing frequent streaming updates
Yeah.
almost every 2 hours starting
Yeah.
Saturday morning. So
So however you're watching us right now, we're going to be doing this kind of thing like every couple of hours all weekend.
Yeah.
So just bringing you constant updates as this is moving in, as travel conditions start to deteriorate, as the snow starts to pile up.
Right.
How much do we have? How much are we still going to get? Those kinds of updates. We'll have those for you all weekend long. And then obviously we've got team coverage today
Right.
talking about all the preparations, what the road crews are doing, what the city is doing, how they are preparing for this big winter storm. We've got our reporters out. I think just about everybody is on a
It's-
winter storm
yeah.
story today. So we'll have all kinds of coverage for 14 News tonight at 4, 5, and 6, and then obviously another streaming show tonight at 9, and then 14 News at 10. And then we'll have all kinds of updates for you all weekend long. Make sure you've got that 14 First Alert app with the notifications turned on. We'll send you a push alert as we get those updates going all weekend long, and we'll all get through this just fine.
Yeah,
Just
hunker
stay
down.
home, stay warm, and we'll all get through this.
yeah, hunker down, stay warm, watch us on your phone, and watch the snow fall out the window. It'll be
Yeah.
a really relaxing weekend if you
Yeah.
allow yourself to relax.
Yes, and for those of you like us who still have to come into work,
Pray for
leave,
us.
leave so unbelievably early to get where you're going
Yes.
and take things incredibly slow and have an emergency kit in your car in case you do get stuck somewhere. So that would be my advice to you. All right. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Everybody
All right.
have a great rest of your day and tune into 14 News at 4 for new updates.